The Pharaonic civilization was one of the greatest achievements of the ancient world. Ancient Egyptians built enormous pyramids that have endured for thousands of years. They created monumental works of art and left behind a legacy that has inspired awe and wonder in people throughout history. But where did this advanced civilization come from? What were the circumstances surrounding its rise to prominence? Let's go back to the very beginning and find out how the first pharaoh came to power. We don't know the exact date when the first pharaoh came into power because no records exist from that time. However, historians estimate that the first pharaoh took the throne around 3100 BC after uniting the two lands of Upper and Lower Egypt. His name was Menes, which means architect. He is considered the founder of the first dynasty. At the time, Egypt was divided into two separate kingdoms. The south was known as Upper Egypt, and the north was known as Lower Egypt. Each kingdom had its own ruler and its own culture. The capital of Upper Egypt was Thebes, while the capital of Lower Egypt was the city of Memphis. Although these two regions were separated, they had been trading with each other for centuries. The people of Upper Egypt were known for their skill in mining and quarrying, while the people of Lower Egypt were known for their skill in agriculture and fishing. This trade relationship led to the exchange of ideas and customs, and eventually the two regions began to share a common language and culture. But it wasn't until King Menes came along that the idea of uniting the two regions became a reality. King Menes was the ruler of Upper Egypt at the time, and he set his sights on conquering the north and uniting the two regions under his rule. With the help of his army, he was able to defeat the rulers of Lower Egypt and bring the entire country together under one banner. This moment marked the beginning of the Pharaonic era in Egyptian history. Unfortunately, there is not much known about King Menes. Very little information about him can be found in historical records because he lived so long ago. Most of what we know comes from the writings of Greek historians who lived many centuries after his death. According to these accounts, King Menes was a great warrior and a wise leader. He is said to have established the first true Egyptian empire, which lasted for over 3 decades. He is also credited with building the first Great Pyramid at Giza, although this is disputed by some historians. Manetho, an Egyptian priest who lived in the 3rd century BC, wrote that Manetho was responsible for creating the first Egyptian alphabet, as well as introducing many new laws and customs. Manetho is also said to have founded the city of Memphis, which became the new capital of the United Egypt. These are just some of the many accomplishments attributed to Menes. And while many of these stories may be exaggerated or entirely false, there is no doubt that he was an important figure in Egyptian history. He is considered to be the founder of the first dynasty and the first pharaoh of a united Egypt. After King Menes came to power, he established a new capital city called Memphis. This city would become the cultural and political center of the pharaoh's empire. King Menes also implemented a number of administrative reforms to better manage his vast empire. He established a system of governors to rule over the various provinces, and he introduced a new currency to facilitate trade and commerce. These reforms helped to ensure the stability and prosperity of the kingdom, setting the stage for future pharaohs to build upon. King Menes's military conquests were a major factor in the rise of the Pharaonic civilization. By uniting Upper and Lower Egypt, he created a powerful and cohesive state that was able to defend itself from outside threats. His army was composed of both infantry and chariots, and they were equipped with bows and arrows, spears and shields. The pharaoh's army was instrumental in expanding the empire's borders and protecting its citizens from harm. In addition to his military and administrative reforms, King Menes also made significant contributions to the arts and culture of Egypt. He is credited with commissioning the construction of the first Great Pyramids, which are still standing today as a testament to his power and prestige. The pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, and they were designed to be eternal resting places that would last for all eternity. King Menes's patronage of the arts also led to the creation of many works of literature, sculpture, and painting that celebrated the glory of the Pharaonic civilization. Although King Menes is a legendary figure in Egyptian history, the truth is that we know very little about him. There is some debate among historians about whether he was a real historical figure or a mythical one. Some believe that he was the first pharaoh of Egypt, while others believe that he was more of a symbolic figure who represented the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his historical existence, King Menes remains an important symbol in Egyptian culture. He is seen as the father of the Pharaonic civilization and the founder of the first Egyptian empire. His legacy lives on in the Great Pyramids of Giza and the other monuments to his supposed glory that can be found throughout Egypt. One of the most enduring mysteries surrounding King Minos is the location of his tomb. It is believed that he was buried in a pyramid near Memphis, but his remains have never been found. Many historians believe that his tomb may have been lost to time due to the shifting sands of the desert or destroyed by looters. Despite centuries of searching, the mystery of King Minos's final resting place remains unsolved. Another fascinating aspect of King Minos's reign is the legend of his succession. According to some sources, he was succeeded by his son, King Narmer. However, others claim that King Narmer was actually a usurper who seized the throne from King Minos's rightful heir. This struggle for power is said to have led to a civil war between the two factions, which ultimately resulted in the establishment of the Second Dynasty. This dynastic struggle provides an early example of the power struggles that would characterize Egyptian politics in the centuries to come. It's important to note that our understanding of King Minos and the early pharaohs is limited by the available historical sources. Much of what we know comes from the writings of Greek and Roman historians, who often had their own biases and perspectives. Additionally, the ancient Egyptians themselves did not leave behind many written records from this period, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. As a result, many questions about King Menes and the origins of the Pharaonic civilization remain unanswered. The first dynasty lasted for almost 100 years, ending in 2986 BC with the death of Pharaoh Unas. During this time, the pharaohs continued to expand their power and influence, building new cities and monuments and extending their control over the entire Nile River Valley. They also developed a more sophisticated system of government and administration, which helped to ensure the stability and prosperity of the kingdom. As the first dynasty came to a close, Egypt was poised for a new era of growth and expansion. The Pharaonic civilization, which had begun with the reign of King Menes, had laid the foundation for one of the most enduring and influential cultures in human history. From the monumental pyramids of Giza to the magnificent temples of Karnak, the pharaohs would continue to amaze the world with their architectural and artistic achievements. Their innovations in science, mathematics, and medicine would also have a lasting impact on human progress. Over the centuries, Egypt would face its share of challenges, including invasions from foreign powers and periods of internal strife. But the pharaoh's legacy would endure. They would continue to rule over Egypt for nearly 3,000 years, until the coming of Islam put an end to their reign in 640 AD. Even after their downfall, the pharaoh's legacy would live on. Their monuments would inspire awe and wonder in travelers from around the world, and their story would be passed down through the ages, captivating the imaginations of historians, archaeologists, and ordinary people alike. So while the pharaohs may no longer be in power, their legacy continues to endure. The name Minos may have been lost to the mists of time, but his deeds live on in the annals of history. He is remembered as the man who united Egypt and established the first dynasty, setting in motion the events that would lead to the rise of one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever known. Today, Egypt is home to over 100 million people and is the most populous country in Africa. The country is a popular tourist destination known for its ancient ruins and monuments such as the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx. Egypt is also home to a number of famous museums, including the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, which houses a vast collection of artifacts from ancient Egypt. If you're interested in learning more about ancient Egypt, I highly recommend visiting the country and exploring its rich history and culture firsthand. You can also learn more about Egypt online through various resources such as documentaries and educational websites. So what do you think about the story of the first pharaoh? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.